Okay, so we are going to take a look now at how to defend trips tight ends. Very popular formation in the game, always has been, probably always will be. It does give zone coverages some fits in this game, especially because there's a lot of zone misalignments when you're running a nickel formation. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the way it misaligns and what we do about it to kind of adjust. Now you can run auto flip on or off, and it doesn't really matter against trips tight end. You're still going to get the same misalignments. So I'm just going to run auto flip off, so I'm always on my safety user. Now, if you put two safeties at middle linebacker, by all means, leave auto flip on, like we talked about previously. I'm gonna run this double in sail. And the play that I like calling against trips tight end is cover three cloud. A specific reason for it. Now you'll notice at the play art right away that the flat zone left is playing all the way to the right side of the field. Now all you got to do really is use your global adjustments. That's A, so YYA, and I like to put him in a hook zone or blitz him or man him up. It's kind of like your swing defender. You can do whatever you want with him. But on the backside, you would definitely want to have some sort of right side flat coverage, either if you user it or you put this linebacker into a hard flat. It's totally up to you. Now, I just wanted to take a look at these zones with you guys. Now, this is a cover three shell. So this is outside third left over here, middle third, right third. Now, why that's advantageous to us against trips tight end. When you show blitz, and because I touched him, he won't move down, but he'll be down here, right? So a lot of times people will throw corner routes, which this has a corner route. And shout out to Zan for actually I learned this from Zan. This coverage shell is pretty good against trips tight end. It can get a little bit dicey when, say, they start motioning people over, but just from the base play, tight end corner route does a really good job covering the tight end corner route. That can be one of people's main reads, right? Especially if they see that type of alignment, right? They see a lot of guys over the left side. They're probably looking to the side where there's less people. So you've got your flat zone. You've got the safety covering the corner route really well. Try to say that 5 times fast. Corner route really well. So that that coverage shell does a good job against it. Now, if I'm going to send pressure, I'm going to send from, like I said, this slot cornerback. It's away from the halfback. If they try to throw the seam, I'm using a safety. I'm typically not going to be using a little short safety like this. You'll be using a taller safety, so I immediately play the seam, and you can get animations on the throw to the seam like this. And then you just kind of hover and cover in the middle of the field. But it's pretty good coverage against trips tight end. Now, if they were to motion a guy, let's go ahead and motion our slot over. So I'm not in any baseline, right? So this guy will follow him over, but this happens now. So you want to be aware that if this happens, you need to put him into either like a cloud flat, a man up, whatever you need to do, but you have to adjust, or else this guy's just going to run away from the coverage and you're going to have problems. The other thing you notice is that this guy came out of the gap. So it's not going to be as easy to blitz anymore unless you were doing something like this, right? So you have to be able to make adjustments on the fly. People are going to motion. They are going to make adjustments to what you're doing. I would highly recommend getting in practice mode and knowing the button assignments of all these players. Like your safety is always going to be LB and B, linebackers right there, X, Y, and A. But knowing those and being able to adjust on the fly without having to think too much about what buttons am I pressing is absolutely crucial when you're playing against good players. So trips tight end, cover 3 cloud. It's kind of difficult to play man coverage against this. So let's call our nickel blitz 1. And we'll go double in sail. We'll show blitz. Okay, so now you have something like this, right? And this can be an interesting little trap coverage, but you don't want to run this consistently because look how far away this guy is. And the reason I call it trap coverage is because if they've been throwing a lot of posts, this deep third will drop right into that deep post area and get underneath them. But once they figure out that this safety is the guy covering over here, you're going to run into some issues. So, I mean, you can make an adjustment by manning up the slot corner on him, putting him in a zone, but then you're only rushing 4, right? Which is not a huge problem. You know, you can still quickly run over and user. You get your pass rush wins. It's a little bit of a wonky looking coverage. I know everybody loves man coverage, so I definitely wanted to go ahead and show that you can run man coverage against trips tight end, but you do have to adjust. You can also call the nickel blitz. You can even call 2-man under. So cover 2-man. Go ahead and run double sail. Show blitz. All right. Now we have a pretty safe coverage too, right? If you want to run man coverage with more of safe coverage, you can do something like this, and you can even put, you know, the safety over here in like purple if he runs a corner route. And then you're just waiting on your 4-man rush to get there, and then everybody's lined up correctly, right? So, a solid defense. Now that purple, it's not going to cover the tight end corner route. Probably never will. It's just the way the game is coded. The purples are curl flats, right? So even if you set your zone depth to 30, you're still not going to drop into that area of the field. So just be aware of that. You're probably going to have to shade outside to even deal with that, which means you're responsible for everything over the middle, which is totally fine because that's where we are anyways. That's where our help is. But you can run that as well. I like mixing in those different coverages, especially against players that run this because they have so many different route combinations and setups that it's definitely advantageous for you to not let them key in on what coverages you're running. It's something I don't see enough people doing. I see a ton of man coverage and people being really, really stubborn in man coverage. But I really think if you start mixing in the zone while giving the same look, you're going to give people some fits. But you got to be quick with it. Like it's repetition, 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 repetition. So that's pretty much it for defending the trips tight end. We'll take a look at bunch real quick. Bunch is always really difficult to defend because of the routes and the compression and just the slew of different things that you can do, as you saw in the MCS that a lot of people are running bunch. It can be a bit of a headache if they know what they're doing, but like if they're kind of like the robots have the basic setups, then you know you'll be all right.